Hello and welcome back to this second part of my second Meet the Dwarves episode. In this one we are going to be meeting the 4 dwarves who arrived in the autumn of year 126 and the 19 who arrived in the spring of year 127. As a result of 23 dwarves, I hope you forgive me for not specifically naming them in this recording, or you would be listening to me going through that for about a minute. The names will all be in the video description, however, so you can check down there to see whether your namesake is in this episode, or this part of the episode I should say. But before we begin, I'm just going to point out that because we are going to be covering quite a lot of dwarves in this episode, for the sake of brevity, I haven't explicitly read out the descriptions of each dwarf, that is the physical description. Occasionally I'll pick out 1 or 2 pointers from it, like an eye colour that stands out, or whether they're fat or thin or tall or short, but by and large I don't go into the details about how they comb their hair, or whether their ears are fused lobed or they have hanging lobes, etc. That will be visible for you, and because I'm going to be spending a bit of time reading the other stuff, there'll be plenty of time for you to pause the recording or just read through that if you can do 2 things at once. I can't, so I won't forgive you if you do have to resort to pausing it. But with all that said and done, let's get to meeting the dwarves. Right, with having reviewed all of the dwarves that we previously met and having met some of the new ones in the children, we'll continue with the migrant wave that arrived in the autumn of year 126. There were only 4 dwarves who came to us in this migrant wave, so one of the smallest that we've had. So we should be able to get through this quickly. We'll start with Insedo. So, view creature. Now, Insedo is married to Vultha, has been ecstatic lately, and is 74 years old. Incredibly quick to heal, clumsy, weak, and very quick to tire. Oh, that's not particularly good. Insedo likes tin glaze, trifle pewter, blue diamond, hoary marmot leather, the colour pearl, mail shirt, and grates. When possible, she prefers to consume giant leopard gecko, water buffalo, cheese, strawberry wine, horse's milk, dwarven wheat flour, and blade wheat seeds. Wow, you like to eat quite a lot of things. You've got a broad body as well. Almost no fat, which is surprising considering how many things you like to eat. But you absolutely detest lizards. You've got a deep well of patience, but you have poor focus and a meager creativity. You occasionally overindulge, you love a good thrill, you are open-minded to new ideas, you are trusting, you're guarded in relationships with others, you do not go out of your way to help others, and you stiffen up when you're surprised. When you're nervous, you tend to stretch your body. Let's check out your relations then. Your husband is Vultha, and your only daughter is Ainthur. You've got a few people in the fort. You've got Skeletal Soup is one of your older brothers. Boxinator, Samscale are aunts. Have you got any cousins? You've got lots of cousins. In fact, you've got a nephew as well, Tree Sniper 12. You've got a lot of your family here, actually. And you've got a friend in Metasapia. Oh, actually, and you're also friends with Dapper Jester, myself, Skillet 2, Fyrezen, Revocane, Edna, and Flying Staplers. Well done. You've got a very good set of friends there, I must say. Right, let's look on to the next one, which is Vultha. Now, I'm wondering if you were married together before you arrived or after. That would be interesting to know. You don't have a room, though, which is a bit of a shame. You're married to Insedo. You've been ecstatic lately. Oh, well done. Talked with a sibling lately and dined in the great dining room. I didn't know that they were made to feel better by talking to siblings. That's quite good to know. You're 71 years old. You're weak. Okay, you're just weak. There we are. Likes olivine, pig iron, crenalian, moonsnail leather, great barracuda tooth, warhammers, and scepters. When possible, you prefer to consume nautilus, mead, and cave wheat seeds. You absolutely detest mosquitoes. Ah, well, I doubt you're alone in that. But what is this with people liking to eat our seeds? Damn it, is that what happened to the plump helmet spawn? You've got a meager ability with social relationships, poor focus, and poor memory, and poor creativity. Wow. Not so good. You're somewhat reserved. You have a good awareness of your own emotions. You're put off by authority and tradition. You take time when making decisions, and you scratch your ear when you're thinking. You need alcohol to get through the working day, as more or less everyone will. You got Insedo, your wife, your daughter. Lobstarooo is your older brother. Areki is your aunt. CognitiveDissonance is your niece. And Anonymous is your nephew. We've got Texfer, Vesty, Skeletal Soup, Rock, Camzore. They're all your cousins. And you've got a pet. You've got a buck rabbit. Ornol. A live pet this time. Not a pet that has died through starvation, unfortunately. Like our dear war rhinoceros did. Okay, so next is PH Dwarf. Where are you, PH Dwarf? Just down here. Crafts Dwarf. You've been happy lately, that's good. You are 77 years old. You're incredibly quick to heal, very slow to tire, but you are quite flimsy. Well, it's not too surprising because you're really skinny. You like limite steel, fire agate, walrus leather, the colour lemon, enormous corkscrews, and leopard seals for their fierce nature. I can't say that I've ever thought of leopard seals being very fierce, but then what would I know? I've never really thought about leopard seals. When possible, you prefer to consume tick. Really? You actually like eating ticks? No wonder you're skinny. White-spotted puffer and dwarven wine. She absolutely detests brown recluse spiders. Ah, the old enemy of Cattenvîr, the brown recluse spider. We actually need to make a support group, I think. We've got that many dwarves who don't like them. She has bad intuition, a shortage of patience, and an iffy memory. Little linguistic ability and poor spatial sense. Not particularly good, honestly. You've got a calm demeanor. You almost never feel discouraged. That's pretty good. You prefer that others handle the leadership roles. I like you. So does Avak. Avak likes people who are not trying to take his job. She is not easily moved to pity. She is self-disciplined. She licks her lips when she's nervous. She tenses up when she's nervous, and she needs alcohol, as all dwarves tend to. Now, let's see. You've got an older sister here and a younger brother. Anyone else? You've got a nephew and probably a lot of cousins. Actually, no, not that many. Not as many as I was expecting. Friends with Avak, Fyrezen, Skillet too. That's fantastic. Well done. More friends for Avak. Now, Vesty. Where are you going to be, Vesty? Down here, the Druid. Let's check you out. You've been happy lately, and you are 80 years old. You're incredibly skinny. That's never a good thing. And you're incredibly quick to heal, but you're susceptible to disease. Probably because you haven't got enough meat on your bones. We need to feed you up. Onup likes mudstone, gold, faint yellow diamond, and longland grass for their sweeping stalks. When possible, you prefer to consume giant black mamba, muckroots, and swamp whiskey. You absolutely detest brown recluse spiders. Wow. The support group is growing. We may actually need to build a room for this. He has a great musical sense, a deep well of patience, and great analytical abilities. Well done. But you have poor empathy, a large deficit of willpower, and a poor ability to manage or understand social relationships. In other words, people walk all over you. He is unassertive. Yep, that goes along. He is relaxed. You have good awareness of your own emotion. You're open-minded to new ideas. You are candid and sincere in your dealings with others, and you're immodest. You need alcohol, as all do. Fair enough. Let's have a look. So, your wife isn't here. Nor your children. Nor your only son, rather. So you left your wife and your son in order to come here. I mean, I'm flattered that you would sacrifice so much to be a part of this awesome little village, but still, that's a bit sad. Got quite a few cousins here, though. Maybe you're going to bring your wife and son along in the next migrant wave. Your friends were Flying Staplers, Matesapia, Skiller, Revocaine, Soundskill, Edna, and Tree Sniper. Well done. I mean, you don't get points for being friends with Matesapia or Flying Staplers because they're so easy to be friends with, but I'm sure you get points for the others, especially Revocaine, because it probably costs you an enormous amount in regular pizza sacrifices to have his friendship. Now, on to Camzore. We are now into the migrants who arrived in the spring of 127. Where are you, Camzore? There we are. A craftsmith as well. You've been happy lately. That's good to know. You're married to Tiny Tim, and you're 76 years old. You're indefatigable. Fantastic. No negative traits, you just never tire. I like this. You like obsidian, silver, faint yellow diamond, blue jay leather, and gems. When possible, she prefers to consume sea monster. You just like to eat sea monster? Wow, that's amazing. I don't think we're going to be able to satisfy that desire very often, but if a kraken or a leviathan should show up, we will do our best to hunt it down so that we can give you a plate of sea monster. That is truly amazing. More copper and bead. She absolutely detests blood gnats, though, and I doubt you're the only one. She has a great kinesthetic sense, very good focus, a good intellect, a way with words, and good intuition. But she has a questionable spatial sense. You're concerned about rejection and ridicule. Oh, Camzore. You poor thing. You're very active. You have great awareness of your own emotions. She prefers familiar routines. She is slow to trust others, probably because you're constantly worried that they're going to reject you. You strive for excellence in an effort to stop people rejecting you. You stiffen up when you're surprised by someone rejecting you, and you need alcohol to get you through the working day and to help you cry yourself to sleep at night because you've been rejected. Oh, Camzore, you're breaking my heart. Tiny Tim, you're clearly not doing something. Your wife is beside herself with fear of rejection. I can only imagine that he's a very hard taskmaster. Okay, you've got a couple of cousins, though. Unsurprisingly, none of them are giving you consolation or trying to help you through your issues with rejection. But you do have a pet. You've got Onup, and he is a dog. Dogs love everyone. They can just meet you and immediately love you. So clearly, you've got that pet because you know you will never be rejected by him. Very wise move. You're friends with Varisen, Spartan, KingOfCroatia, and Salidor. All very good friends to have, I'm sure. But they really do need to start doing more to try and get you out of that rut that you're in. Okay, who's next on the list? We've got the Dapper Jester. Ah, good. He's been wanting to know about his namesake. Nagging me, he has been. Oh, there we are. You've got a quarters, a chest, and a cabinet. Never say I don't give you anything, Jester. You've been happy lately. And you're married to Thales. You're 91 years old. Thales, of course, is a name you might not recognize because someone in the comments said that they've been bringing their names together and trying to go under one name under all of their accounts. So I've changed the name to Thales. I cannot for the life of me remember what the name was before. I have the memory of a mayfly, I am afraid to say. But I'm sure they can chime in the comments just to let us all know. Now, you're almost never sick and you're agile, but you're very weak. I don't believe that of Dapper Jester. You're clearly just conserving your strength for something epic later on. You like stoneware, adamantine, as I'm sure almost all dwarves like. Emerald, alderwood, alpaca wool, the colour amethyst, suns, cabinets, buckets, alpacas for their long necks, and giant snapping turtles for their long necks. I can only imagine if we ever manage to get some war giraffes, you will also like them. When possible, you prefer to consume giant hornbill, sunberries, and strawberry wine. You absolutely detest fire lizards. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, and should I ever tame any fire snakes, I should say, I will have someone else train them. Wow, your eyes are aquamarine. I only just noticed that. That's quite uncommon. I don't think I've seen very many dwarves with aquamarine eyes. Now, you've got great analytical ability, a feel for music, a good spatial sense, and an ability to read emotions fairly well, which is probably all very, very good stuff for an animal trainer. But you've got a shortage of patience, that's not. And a meager kinesthetic sense. I don't think that matters, but the shortage of patience probably hurts. You're very slow to anger, you don't often experience strong cravings or urges, and you don't handle stress well. Oh, no, I don't think that's true of Dapper Jester. He handles stress well, I think. You tend to avoid crowds, you love a good thrill. Yeah, that sounds like Dapper Jester. He isn't given to flights of fancy. He is completely uninterested in art. Oh, that doesn't sound like him at all. Are you even trying, Dwarf Fortress? He admires tradition. He is slow to trust others. When he's nervous, he sometimes cracks his knuckles. Fair enough. I know lots of people who do that. Your wife is Stains, and you've got a friend in Insedo, Revoking, Tree Sniper, and Skiller. You have no children and no other family that we have on record. I'm suspicious of you, Dapper Jester. No dwarf has no family. You'll probably run out of the last place you were at, and you are unable to admit your true heritage. Now, SgtBird, where are you going to be? Are you going to be down here? Are you going to be amongst the military? Yes, you are. That's very useful. And, wow, a lot of you can't reach your targets. I'm going to have a look into that. Right, you've got your own quarters as well, which is very good. And you've been happy lately, probably because you've got your own quarters. And you're also married to KingOfCroatia. You're 75 years old. You're quite durable and rarely sick. You like native platinum, copper, and red beryl. Snail leather, not moon snail, just snail. The colour turquoise. Llamas for their jutting teeth, and giant magpies for their intelligence. I agree, I quite like giant magpies too. Well, I like magpies, I can't really say I've ever seen a giant one. When possible, you prefer to consume Longland beer and plump helmet spawn. Was it you? Was it you who consumed all my plump helmet spawn? I'm keeping my eyes on you. You absolutely detest brown recluse spiders, but if I find out you stole my plump helmet spawn and gave me a panic for a few months, I will stick you in a room full of them. Maybe I'll use the footage from that as a way to cure everyone else of their worry of brown recluse spiders. Or maybe introduce it to everyone who doesn't have it, one way or the other, you know. He has very good focus and a sum of patience, but he has little difficulty with words, a meager ability with social relationships, a poor kinesthetic sense, and an atrocious spatial sense. Oh, that's not good. That's not good in someone in the military, an atrocious spatial sense. I think all of the other military personnel should fight wherever you're not fighting so that they don't accidentally get beheaded by some stray sword swing. You often feel discouraged. Oh, I'm sorry for what I just said. I didn't mean to make it sound like you were a terrible soldier. I'm sure you're quite good. You can handle stress. You're very active. You love a good thrill. That's good in the military, I would say. You can be very happy and optimistic. You have a fertile imagination and you appreciate art and natural beauty. You do not display your own emotions and you have no awareness of them. Interesting. You're slow to trust others. You have a sense of beauty. When you're thinking, you click your tongue repeatedly. Okay, fair enough. That probably gets very annoying very quickly, but it's just as well you're in the military because you don't really need to think too much because you're just given orders and expected to follow them. Now, you're married to King of Croatia and you've got two older sisters, Arkin and PH Dwarf. You've got probably a lot of cousins. No, actually not as many as I was expecting. And Skillet 2 is your only friend in the fort. Well, I mean, other than your family and your wife, who I'm sure all like you a lot when you're not trying to beat them whilst training by, you know, misplacing your sword into their heads or something. Now, King of Croatia is next on the list. Let's find, where are you? I think you're going to be way up the top of the list, actually. Yes. Oh, well, that was quite handy. You're a labourer. And you're obviously sharing quarters with your partner. You are 76-year-old and you've been quite content lately. You're tough and strong, but you're quick to tire and quite clumsy. You like calcite, sterling silver, svorite, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, river otterbone, the colour dark indigo, I like that colour as well, thrones and... Whoa. You like thrones? Your name is King of Croatia, so I'm not too surprised by that, but you like thrones? I'm not liking where this is going, King of Croatia. Avak is the only person who's going to be sitting on a throne, if there is ever a throne made. You just remember that. And prickleberries for the precise thorns. I don't know what I'm going to do when Avak is inevitably voted off being the expedition leader. It's going to crush me. When possible, she prefers to consume tuber beer and alpaca's milk. She absolutely detests bats. I can't see why. They're lovely little creatures. She has a great deal of patience, but she has an iffy memory and poor analytical ability. She rarely feels discouraged. She occasionally overindulges. She is unassertive. She loves a good thrill. She is resistant to change. She is guarded in her relationship with others and does not go out of her way to help them. She is compassionate. Really? That all sounds rather contradictory, honestly. She strives for excellence. She acts impulsively. She needs alcohol to get through the working day. Now, what about your relations? You are married to SgtBird. Your paternal and grandmother and grandfather are Skelly and Millams, respectively, and you've got a younger sister in SirBlackward. Well done. Anyone else? We've got a cousin. Yeah, only one cousin is here. Oh, no, you've got a grudge. Damn it. You're friends with Camzore, but you've got a grudge against Metasapia. How you could have any issue with Metasapia, I do not know. She's probably one of the most easy to get along with people I know, and I know a lot of people. I think you've done something untoward. Okay, Darkdraker is next on the list. Let's see, where are you? Down here, Metalsmith. Let's see how you're doing. And remember, this is for posterity, so honesty, please. You've been quite content lately, that is good. You are married to CognitiveDissonance. You're 67 years old. You're quite quick to heal, but you are very weak and very flimsy. You like anhodite, nickel silver, blue jade, kerns, anvils, and giant coyotes for their howling. You are probably the only one who enjoys their howling, honestly. When possible, he prefers to consume common skate, sea nettle jellyfish. That sounds remarkably stingy. And bumblebee mead. He absolutely detests fire snakes, and considering you like sea nettle jellyfish, when you say bumblebee mead, I'm wondering if you mean made from honey from a bumblebee or with actual bumblebees. He has a great kinesthetic sense and the ability to focus, a sum of patience, a good feel for social relationships, and a good memory. Oh, you actually sound like quite a cool person. But has an iffy sense for music and meager creativity. Well, we can look past those things. It looks like you pay attention to people when they're talking to you, and you've got a good sense for the way the conversation is going. You're often nervous. You rarely feel discouraged. You can handle stress. You are assertive. You do not have a great aesthetic sensitivity. You begin to talk in monotone when you're bored. I know a lot of people like you. You chew your cheek when you're angry. Oh, that's not good. Especially if you get really angry. I can just imagine you kind of gnawing a hole out the side of your face. You tap your feet when you're annoyed. You need alcohol to get through the working day. And you grumble only mildly at inclement weather. Cognitive dissonance is your wife, as we've already ascertained, and Merson and Arkan are your mother and father. They're both in the fort. I notice you do not have any children yet. I can only imagine that they're constantly nagging you about this. Maybe giving evil stays at cognitive dissonance. Probably blaming cognitive dissonance, honestly. It's always the wife's fault when it comes to not having children, or so it goes, that the parents of the husband believe, anyway. Now, you're not really friends with anyone and you don't have any grudges. That is a shame and a boon at the same time, really. Now then, who's next? We've got Arnob. Now, where are you going to be, Arnob? I haven't actually spied you in this list in a little while, so I'm probably going to have to look. Oh no, here we are, Fishsmith. Fantastic. And while I'm bringing up your information, I'm going to take a sip of tea. Fortress administration is thirsty work, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. Arnob has been content lately. You're married to someone, and you have a child with them. I don't think they're actually in this fort, which is quite sad, honestly. The thought of families being broken up is kind of heartbreaking. You're 69 years old, and you miss your family very much, and you're incredibly fat. You're not incredibly fat, you're just fat, but the fact that it goes to the point of telling me you're fat, I'm sorry, it's probably all that comfort food you're consuming in order to make yourself stop feeling so miserable about leaving your family behind. You're slow to tire, and you're susceptible to disease and slow to heal. That's not so good, really. You like alabaster, trifle pewter, shell opal, giant cave spider silk. Ooh. I'm not sure I'm going to be brave enough to try and get you any of that, I'm afraid. I'll have to trade for it. The colour pearl, bolts, hatch covers, and giant moon snails for their striking coloration. Giant moon snails now, not just moon snails and not just snails. Giant moon snails. When possible, you prefer to consume moon snail. Oh, okay, kind of all works together. Fisherberry wine and sheep's milk. You absolutely detest worms. She has an iron will and an ability to read emotions fairly well, and a good kinesthetic sense. But she has meager creativity, a little difficulty with words, and a very bad intuition. She is slow to anger, she loves to take charge, and direct activities. She takes time when making decisions, she needs alcohol to get through the working day. And, yeah, your husband and your daughter, you've left them behind. Once again, I'm flattered that you would make such a sacrifice to be a part of our fort, but really, I can't say in good conscience that I agree with your decision. Well, you've got a couple of relatives here, at least, to keep you company. Now, Fyrezen, where are you? You're just down here, Druid. You've been happy lately, and you're 114 years old? My lord! You're married to Salidor as well. I hope they're of equivalent age, otherwise you've clearly got yourself a toy boy. Well done. She is mighty, but she is quick to tire and very slow to heal. Likes andesite, fine pewter, savorite, again, I don't know how to pronounce that, giant armadillo leather, snail shell, giant brown recluse spider silk, well done, crossbows, harps, alpacas for their wool, and bleak monsters for their macabre ways. Wow. Okay, well at least you don't like to consume them. When possible, she prefers to consume giant cockatiel and tuba beer. She absolutely detests bark scorpions. Very good feel for social relationships and ability to read emotions fairly well, but she has a lousy intellect and very little patience. Oh, that's... What are they saying about you, Fyrezen? Probably stuff you don't understand, so don't worry about it. She is slow to anger. She feels strong urges and seeks short-term rewards. Much with the toy boys, I guess. She can handle stress. She is often cheerful. She has a fertile imagination. She has good awareness, and her of her own emotions, and she's willing to compromise with others. Oh, that's actually rarely seen. Well done. She's not easily moved to pity, though. Having lived so long, she's heard it all before, I imagine. She becomes very rigid when she's angry, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day. Let's check out your relation. So you're married to Sellardohr. You've got a few children. Having lived as long as you have, I'm not surprised. Millums is your older brother. You've got a few people in the fort who are nephews or close relations. And you've got Arnob, Metasepia, Revocaine, Camzore, CognitiveDissonance, PH Dwarf, Skiller, Insedo, and Tree Sniper 12 as your friends. Well done. No grudges to speak of. And next on the list is Skiller 2. Who's up here? A Medicus, eh? Let's have a look at you. You haven't got a room yet. Perhaps I should get you one. Never mind, you're ecstatic anyway, so I don't need to. You're married to Tree Sniper 12, and you're 61 years old. You're very slow to tire and very rarely sick, but you are clumsy and are very weak. You like phyllite, bullion, shawl, green glass, pleated gibbon leather, well, that's very specific, emu tooth, do they even have teeth? Chipmunk bone, the colour green-yellow, spears, millstones, and cats for their aloofness. When possible, she prefers to consume muck roots, dwarven wine, dwarven wheat flour, and hide root seeds. Another one who eats my bloody seeds. She absolutely detests brown recluse spiders. Well, I will be filling a room with these things, and anyone who eats my seeds, my precious ones anyway, if I've got like 1,000, chow down. But if I've got like 10, and you scarf them all, yes, you know where you're going to be bedding for that night. She has a sharp intellect, but she has an iffy memory, poor creativity, little natural inclination toward music. That's a shame. Very comfortable in social situations, though, can handle stress. She lives for risks and excitement. She likes to try new things. She is compassionate, tenses up when she's nervous, and clicks her tongue occasionally when she's bored, which I imagine is most of the time, given that she lives for excitement. Okay, so cognitive dissonance, just down here. Very well done. Gemsmith. You have been quite content lately, and you're married to Darkdraker. You're 66 years old, and you're rarely sick, but you are flimsy. You like hornblende. Is that hornblende? The straight ear is throwing me off there. Damn English and its silent letters. Bronze, yellow spessartine, the colour violet, gauntlets, and adders for their warning hisses. I agree. I have a deep fondness for any creature that warns me before it tries to bite me. When possible, she prefers to consume tuber beer. She absolutely detests purring maggots. Well, just as well for you that I have never successfully caught a purring maggot, even though I have tried every single time I've had a thought. She has a very good sense of the position of her own body, a great deal of patience, good intuition, and a good feel for social relationships. But she has an iffy sense of music and a large deficit of willpower, and I will be right back. And I return. Okay, where were we? Great deal of patience, good intuition, good feel for social relationships, but has an iffy sense of music and a large deficit of willpower. Okay. She has a calm demeanor. She almost never feels discouraged. She is comfortable in social situations. She occasionally overindulges. She tends to avoid crowds. She has a good awareness of her own emotions. She is candid and sincere in dealings with others. She is modest. She has a sense of duty. She doesn't go out of her way to do more work than necessary. She stomps her feet repeatedly when she's angry, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day. Okay. Darkdraker is your husband. Well, you don't actually have any children. You've got an older brother in Anonymous, though. And you've got 2 uncles, Lobstarooo and Vultha. And a lot of cousins, by the looks of it. You're friends with Flying Staplers, Skiller II, or Skiller 2, and Fyrezen. Well done, no grudges. That is always the best thing. Now, on to Tiny Tim, who should be in the military somewhere. Here we are, Tiny Tim. Tell us about yourself, Tiny Tim. And remember, this is for future generations, so honesty is the best policy. 76 years old. Has been quite content as well. Very good. And you're married to Camsor. You're quite durable, very agile, but you are susceptible to disease and weak. You like talc, electrum, shawl, gems, yaks for their shaggy hair, and moose men for their broad antlers. Okay. Where possible, you prefer to consume whip wine. You absolutely detest worms. You have a sum of patience, but poor focus. You have a calm demeanor, you're occasionally overindulged, you can handle stress, you're somewhat reserved. You're not a risk taker, which is a shame. Well, I don't know, sometimes that can be a good thing in the military. He is incredibly creative though, and appreciates art and natural beauty. You like to try new things, and you are guarded in your relationship with others. You are modest, you often snap your fingers when you're nervous, and click your tongue constantly when you're trying to remember something. Fair enough. Now, Camzore is your wife, you've got Asthero is your older brother, and Mr. Rexels is your younger brother. So you're the middle child, it would seem. Blood alchemy, you've got a bunch of cousins with the looks of it, and one friend, Ednar. Well done. Ednar is a very friendly person, it seems. Now to Eli. Where are you, Eli? Are you down here as well? Yes, there you are. Tell us about yourself, Eli. Oh, you've got a quarters. Well done. Quite content, lady. I always say well done because it seems that they have to kind of fight off competition for those things. You're 77 years old. You are mighty and tough. Yes, you're incredibly muscular, it would seem. But you are quite clumsy. You like satin spar, bismuth bronze, pineapple opal, maple wood, the colour dark pink, maces, and geese for their formation flying. When possible, you prefer to consume dwarven beer and absolutely detest oysters. You've got a very good sense of empathy and good intuition, but you have a meagre kinesthetic sense, poor spatial sense, little natural inclination towards music, and a poor memory. That's an awful lot of negative traits, I've got to be honest. You're comfortable in social situations, though. You enjoy the company of others. You are a risk taker and a thrill seeker. I'm not against this in the military. You are slow to trust others, and you are candid and sincere in dealings with them. You have a sense of duty and think it is incredibly important to strive for excellence. You often do the first thing that comes to mind, and you need alcohol to get through the working day. But honestly, that's awesome. You've got a strong sense of duty as a military person. That almost certainly means you're going to be in the barracks practicing even when you're off duty. I approve. Now, Salidor. Where am I going to find you, Salidor? Down here somewhere? Yes, you are also in the military. See, I remember things about my dwarves. Not much, but a few. You've been quite content. You're married to Fyrezen. You're 110 years old. Okay. Not a toy boy then. Honestly, I'm a little bit saddened by this, but still, that's probably the best thing for both of you. You're almost never sick and you're tough. You like phyllite, billion, clear tourmaline, the colour amethyst, shields and buckets. The fact you like shields is good, since you're in the military. When possible, you prefer to consume kiwi. You've got about as much chance of getting your hands on a kiwi as Avak has of getting his hands on a koala. I'm terribly sorry to say. You like fisherberries, dwarven beer, whipvine flour, and cave wheat seeds, and you detest slugs. You have a very good sense of empathy, a sum of patience, and a way with words. But you have a really poor focus. Well, that's not too bad, I suppose. It does mean you're going to be a little bit worse off in combat drills. He's often nervous. Oh, for what? He's somewhat reserved, very assertive, does not have a great aesthetic sensitivity. You're resistant to change. You're guarded in relationships with others, probably because you're always nervous. You find helping others very rewarding. You are immodest, though. You always like to brag about what you've just done. He's not affected by the suffering of others, which is probably a brilliant thing to have in the military, because you can torture them for hours on end without ever empathizing. He is disorganized. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. Okay, so Fyrezen is your wife, and you have abandoned your many, many sons and daughters for the soldier's life in our fort. Well done on being a soldier at your ripe age, though. I've got to congratulate you on that. You've got quite a few cousins here. 4 deities. Well, I suppose anyone who's lived as long as you might have picked up quite a few people to worship and thank for that fact. But you're friends with Camzore and Ednar. Okay, Thales. Where are you going to be, Thales? There you are, a tinkerer. Let's have a look at you, shall we? You've got your own quarters. Well done. Okay, you've been happy lately. You're married to the Dapper Jester. Well done. Very good catch there. You're 94 years old. Whoa, you're getting on, though. Not so sure the good catch is quite as true. the other way around. You're incredibly skinny. You're incredibly quick to heal, but you are weak, which makes sense if you're that skinny. You like olivine, lead, pink tourmaline, giant ibex horn, llama wool, moons, bolts, and donkeys for their stubbornness. I agree. I'm quite fond of donkeys as well. Maybe not for their stubbornness, but still. When possible, she prefers to consume swamp whiskey. She absolutely detests brown wreck. Oh my lord, another one for the support group. I'm going to have to make this room a really big room. She has a very good feel for social relationships, but she has poor focus. She often feels discouraged. She is comfortable in social situations. She is somewhat reserved. She tends to openly express emotions. She finds helping others rewarding. Oh, that's always a nice trait in someone. She is compassionate. She stiffens up when surprised. Okay, what about your relationships? Oh, really? Dapper Jester, that's it. Your only relation of any note is Dapper Jester. That's a little bit suspicious, honestly. But hopefully you'll make some friends sooner or later. Now, MrChaotic. Where are you going to be, MrChaotic? Let's have a look through here. Are you down here somewhere? I don't think you are. Let's have a look up here then. MrChaotic. Where are you going to be? Ah, I found you, Woodsmith, making a barrel. You were hiding in that barrel. You cunning swine. My lord, you've got 18 objects that you own and nowhere to put them. I'm going to have to correct this soon. You've been quite content, though, and you're married to SirBlackward. You're 75 years old. You're weak. That's it. You're just weak. Likes native gold, black opal, dingo leather, the colour green, pebbles. That's going to be easy to please you, then. Leggings, dogs for their loyalty, and fire snakes for their mystery. Okay, so when we do get some tame fire snakes that we want to train, I guess I'm going to have you swap jobs for a little while so you can train them. When possible, you prefer to consume giant hamster, 2 humped camel cheese, and dwarven ale. You absolutely detest large roaches. You have a very good feel for social relationships, though, a good kinesthetic sense, and good intuition. But you have a poor empathy, a shortage of patience, and a poor analytical ability. You do not have a great aesthetic sensitivity, which I'm guessing aesthetic sensitivity means that they acknowledge when something isn't aesthetically pleasing, it just doesn't bother them when it isn't. You are candid and sincere in your dealings with others. You try to live a well-organized life. Well done. You are occasionally given to procrastination. I can't say that I'm not in the same boat, unfortunately. He always points at others when greeting them. Oh, dear. He often bites his nails when he's trying to remember something. But really, pointing at people when you're greeting them, I can only imagine that... Man, if I actually brought you into the same social situation as that person who was like terribly racked with concern about being judged and looked at all the time, you'd send them off to hide in a coffin, no doubt. Who was that? Was that Intha? Let me just quickly check. I must remember. Was it you? Was it you? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, I can't remember, but there is someone who doesn't like it, who's socially crippled by these fears, and I can only imagine that MrChaotic would make it even worse. Okay, let's check out your relationships, shall we? Your wife, SirBlackward, you've got no children. You have got an older sister, or, well, you had an older sister. I'm sorry for your loss. Let's see. Have you got any friends? No, you don't. You've just got family. Well, fair enough. I suppose that will tide you through for a while until you make some friends. And now it is on to Tree Sniper 12. Where are you, Tree Sniper 12? There we are. A labourer who wants to be a soldier but doesn't have any soldiering skills, so it might be a little while before you become one. You've been happy lately. You've married to the Skiller 2, and that's probably why. I mean, you know, Skiller 2, fantastic wife. He's 55 years old. Muscular. You are strong, but you are remarkably flimsy. Oh, really? Oh, okay. You like native aluminium, steel, violet, spacetine, glumprong wood. What? Glumprong wood? Really? Exotic leather, rope reed fiber fabric, spears and horses for their strength. When possible, you prefer to consume giant leopard. I don't think that's going to be very possible very often, I'm afraid. Whipwine and ratweed seeds. Oh, another one who eats my seeds. Stop it. These shenanigans must come to a halt. You absolutely detest bats, but you will find yourself in a room full of them if you eat my seeds. You have a good spatial sense and a way with words. Maybe you can talk yourself out of that room with bats then, actually. But you have a shortage of patience, meager creativity, and bad intuition, and next to no natural musical ability. You have a calm demeanor, you're slow to anger, you rarely feel discouraged, you can handle stress, you are not a risk taker though, you have a good awareness of your own emotions, and are candid and sincere in your dealings with others. You do not go out of your way to help them, though, and you dislike confrontations. You find rules confining. Well, you may have come to the wrong place then. But you are self-disciplined, so maybe it isn't going to be too bad. Right, so you're married to Skilla. Your mother and your father are both here. Boxinator and Skeletal Soup. I can only imagine that is an interesting situation to be in with them nagging all the time. But you do have some friends. You've got a friend in Lobstarooo, Edna, Vesty, Fyrezen, and Dapper Jester. All very good choices, I must say. I have to, because they'll beat me up if I don't. Or try. Right, SirBlackward. Let's find you. Here we are. You are a foodsmith. Let's have a look at you. You've been happy lately, that's always good to see. You're married to MrChaotic, and you are 72 years old. You like jet, zinc, green jade, clear glass, giant ibex leather, the colour light brown, bucklers, kerns, sheep for their wool. When possible, you prefer to consume sunberries and whip wine. You absolutely detest slugs. So, man, we're going to have to get a little support group for people who dislike slugs as well at this rate. You've got a very good feel for social relationships, a good memory, and a good spatial sense, and good intellect. So you never forget anyone's birthdays, and you always know what to get them. Well done. But she has a shortage of patience, but you do not have any time for their whining and drama. I see. Good to note. You only rarely have strong cravings or urges. You can handle stress. You tend to avoid crowds. You are assertive. You aren't given into flights of fancy, and you are slow to trust others. But you are guarded in relationships with others as well, and chew your lip when you're angry. No one is bound to hurt themselves. Right, what about your relations? You have a husband in the fort, and your paternal and grandmother and grandfather are here. And no children. I can only imagine you getting weird glances askance at the fact that you have not yet conceived. Edna is your only friend as well. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, but you have 4 gods, and I would hope you're on good terms with them. Okay, so next we've got Hamster. Now, where is Hamster going to be? You going to be up here, Hamster? Yes, you are. A foodsmith. Let's check you out. You've been happy lately, and you're married to Lobstarooo. You're 78 years old, and you're very fat. That's okay. It just means that you like your food. She's absolutely inexhaustible and tough. Wow, really? Considering she's very fat, I'm surprised. But you're slow to heal, weak, and quite susceptible to disease. That doesn't surprise me. You like conglomerate, billion, and green zircon. When possible, you prefer to consume phantom spider. Wow, you actually just like to eat phantom spider? Okay. Spotted red, ratfish, reindeer cheese, ratweed, and dwarven ale. And you like a lot of it when you have it. She absolutely detests mussels, though. And you have a natural inclination towards language. Wow, that's pretty cool. But you have a meager creativity, a shortage of patience, quite poor focus, and very bad analytical abilities. You are quick to anger. You are often sad and dejected. Oh, Hamster, really? Oh, I can only imagine that makes you angry all the time as well. You occasionally overindulge, you can handle stress, you aren't given to flights of fancy, you dislike intellectual discussions, you are put off by authority and tradition, and you think through every alternative and its consequences before acting. And you lower your eyes when you're angry. Imagine you look at your feet an awful lot. Oh, well, that's actually quite sad, though. Often sad and dejected. My lord. Right. Let's check out your relations, actually. Lobstarooo is your husband, and is not doing a good job if you're always sad and dejected. Lobstarooo, you need to pick up the pace there, my good man. I'm sure you are a wonderful husband, but you need to show it a little bit more. You have a friend in Flying Staplers and many, many relatives here, but Flying Staplers is your only friend. Well, I can't actually think of anyone better to have as your only friend, but hopefully she can help to cheer you up a little bit. Now, Lalasa. Let's see, where are you? You're down here. Let's check you out. In the military. You've been fine lately. Oh, only fine. You were grumbling about long patrol duty. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to get something for you. Oh, no. That's... you're married to Dinu. Okay, this is why you're only fine. Although, having said that, being fine is actually pretty good, considering. You mired a fine trade depot, you slept without a proper room recently, and were forced to endure the decay of a spouse. But then you ate a really good meal in a fantastic dining room, and you forgot all about those problems. And then you remembered that you'd lost your spouse to tragedy. And then you were caught in the rain, because the gods are just pissing on your chips today. Oh my lord, that's terrible. You're 81 years old. Okay, you're really sick, but you are weak. You like diorite, silver, plume agate, amber, the colour mahogany, high boots, cages, flasks, and turkeys for their wattle. When possible, you prefer to consume a naked mole dog, lungfish, and dwarven beer. And you absolutely detest bats. Well, I don't know what you silly people have got against bats, honestly. They're lovely little creatures. But I will do my best to keep them out of Lalasa's way. You've already got enough on your plate. You've got a great ability to focus, a very good feel for social relationships, and a way with words and a feel for music. But you have a poor analytical ability, a questionable spatial sense, and a meager kinesthetic sense, and a poor creativity. You are quick to anger, you rarely feel discouraged, oh crap, quick to anger, and your mood is plummeting like a rock. I am going to have to keep a very close eye on this situation. You can handle stress, you are somewhat reserved, you are unassertive, you live for risks and excitement, and tend not to openly express emotions, which is good because you'd just be crying all over the fort right now. You're resistant to change, you are guarded in relationships with others, you find helping others to be very rewarding, and that's a very nice thing to see. You are immodest though, and that's not. You're very confident, and very rarely do more work than necessary. Okay. Dino, wife. I'm very sure Dino is gone. I might be wrong, but I'll have to check that. Let's see. So other than your wife, your son and daughter are not in the fort. And if Dino has died, that can only be a good thing. Let's not pass the news on too quickly. Let's find out what kind of situation they're in first. Make sure they're not lonely and, you know, clutching to those rare occasional letters from mum and dad that bring light to their life and give them a reason to keep on going. If that is the case, then we need to be very, very gentle and tread carefully in how we break this news to them. Now, let's have a look. Is Dino still here? I'm fairly sure he's not. Dino, was it you, Dino? Yes, Dino. Yeah, let's be sure that we don't let the kids know too soon. Right, the last one to have a look at is Lobstarooo, the amazing husband who is perhaps just forgetting to show that he's amazing right now. We need to have words, I think. Where are you, Lobstarooo? You're a labourer, probably out working all the time. That's the problem. I need to give you a proper job so you've got some regular hours. You've been happy lately, unlike your wife. You're married to Hamster. You're 75 years old. Well, actually, Hamster, I think, is content, but is just prone to being miserable. Let's see. You like Periclas, nickel silver, harlequin opal, amber, horsebone, the colour mauve, battle axes, flasks, and giant ocelots for their coat patterns. I agree. I like ocelots for their coat patterns as well. Again, I haven't seen a giant of them, but still. When possible, you prefer to consume giant nautilus. Glass eye? I hope that is an actual glass eyes, but okay. Dwarven wine and dwarven sugar. Really? You just shovel it into your mouth or something? Are you fat? No, you're not. Suspicious. You absolutely detest flies, though. Okay, I agree. That's why I like spiders. You have a lot of willpower and very good creativity, but you have a meager kinesthetic sense, an iffy memory, a shortage of patience, and very bad analytical abilities. You are slow to anger, you tend to avoid crowds, you are entranced by riddles and puzzles, and love debating issues and ideas. You are put off by authority and tradition, and you are trusting. Okay, you're not affected by the suffering of others. That's probably why your wife is miserable, because you don't care. Really, Lobstarooo, we need to work on this. I think I'm going to have to build a room for marriage counselling as well as 2 support group rooms. But let's check out your relationships. You're married to Hamster. You don't have any children. You've got your maternal grandmother. No, sorry, your younger brother, Vultha, is here. You've got aunts, uncles, nieces, a nephew, and probably a lot of cousins, and 2 friends as well, Skiller and Tree Sniper 12. Well done. No grudges, surprisingly, considering you don't give a shit if anyone's miserable or not. And with that, not only now do we know of all the dwarves who arrived in the year 126, but we have also met those who arrived in the spring of year 127. Rather interesting lot, with a few who may or may not have some marital difficulties. Maybe not now, but certainly in the future if things keep going the way they are. We're going to have to keep a close watch on them as well as the Seed Eaters. But that is all for this episode. In the next one, I imagine we're only going to have one more part. That will cover the remainder of the migrants who arrived in year 127. That is the migrant wave that arrived in summer, and then the migrant wave that arrived in autumn. I hope you've been enjoying these, and I hope you will join me for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care.